is to build a foundation of trusting in the ability that you can. And on the other hand is to have the capacity and the resources to look as you as an individual at your own identity outside of society.
Welcome to the Phase 4 podcast, inspired by Vishen Lakiani and Ajit Nawalkar, co-founders of EverCoach, a division of Vine Valley. In this podcast, we speak to coaches and creatives about where they were, where they are, and where they are going. This is the intersection of what we focus on expands, and your story is your superpower. My guest today is Ivana. She's an empowerment and mindset coach. Her story is definitely her superpower, and today she's going to share all of it with us. And Ivana, welcome to the podcast.
Stoked to be here, JP. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm definitely grateful. I love what you're doing. It reminds me a lot of what I'm doing. So it's very free-flowing, easy, growth mindset, forward focus. Create your future is the big aha moment I get when I look at your content. And so usually I like to begin with just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up in this space before we get to creating your future.
I am excited to share this. So what looks like a grow plan right now was basically nothing but connecting dots over 2 decades of my life. I was a child who did not appreciate the educational path. However, I always valued education, and my curiosity was always beyond what is and beyond what I have to do. So I was questioning in a very early stage that you can imagine has driven my parents insane as well as my teachers. I did not understand the value in why do I need to do things that do not excite me. And that was very present at all times. Now, as I can verbalize it, I can tell that I was feeling a little flame burning inside me that I do not want to do what everybody does. Just to put it in a simple way, I never wanted to do what my parents did. I didn't want to do what everybody does. However, this is what I learned. So I went on that path of climbing a career ladder, making my parents happy who wanted me to be a doctor. You have to know my mom has really invested so much money, time, energy, her entire young years to bring us up as we immigrated from Serbia to Austria, had to learn a new language. My mother was working 2 jobs to make education possible, right? To make everything possible. So we did not suffer from missing things. We had it all, and I wanted to give this back. So I would have never dared in my young age to say, I'm not going to university, I'm going to do everything different. However, I felt a constant conflict within. There was a conflict within me that I knew I'm not doing what I want. And this went on and on and on, and it was overshadowed with having also a big need of external validation due to bulimia caused by abuse on a very early stage. So I went my journey of basically pleasing everyone around me, to be the good girl, to have to look everything good on the outside as I was taught at home. So, and as I went, I still felt a little flame burning inside me. However, I dared every now and then to step left or right off the path. So I quit university. I did not go for medicine. I could not. I didn't see the value in there. But what I did, because at least what I was taught as well, I need to make money. So I go and study economics, right? Economics was the thing to go about. Very early I noticed, no, this is not it. So I went for a crazy expensive education for a health and coaching diploma, fitness, health, and mindset at that time that I chose myself on a private university. And there was this moment where I was sitting there and we had psychology at that time. And this was our first class and there was an assignment. A little girl who was sportive, was in a cheerleader club, I believe, and she was working her path up in school and in her sports career. Suddenly, was missing on joy and fulfillment in the sports. And she started hiding in her room, avoiding the conversation with her parents, and didn't want to go to training anymore, etc. The parents got worried. And our assignment was to have a conversation with this young individual and to find out what's bothering her. Why is she not pursuing her passion anymore? The outcome of one result was that she was actually hooked on IT and she found a new passion. However, she never was planning on leaving cheerleading or her sports career. However, she has discovered something else that was literally sparking her being at that time, but she didn't dare to speak it out loud. She didn't dare to have the conversations with her parents because she was afraid to literally, to speak it out loud and afraid that she will fall on deaf ears. And I started noticing this within me, but also everywhere around me. A society was shaped, or society is shaped. We are living in this collective of how things are done. And it's so easy to put those dreams on a shelf. And this observation stimulated me all over the time. So I found something within me that I knew, okay, I got to change a lot in my life in order to get to live what I want to live. And I always wanted to leave the city, live by the ocean, and do a job that at that time didn't know was existing. But I didn't want to go to an office where people told me what to do.
Yeah, that's an awesome story. And it's so good the way you say, like, you see it backwards, right? I think we're all like that, where it's hard to see it going forward. Like, why am I here in this moment? But like, even just getting through those moments, the dark times and the good times, it's like, oh, okay, I had to do that in order to do that. I'm edited this book and I wrote a story in it a couple of years ago. It was 33 coaches. And my story starts off with that quote by Steve Jobs. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. Sounds like that's what happened to you. And not ironically, but the psych student who lost her love for that, but she had this secret burning desire. It's understandable, right? There's things that come up because your parents at that time probably laying the path, and she's just not confident enough to just say, no, this is who I am, and just deal with it. And so she's facing things like rejection, fear, blame, shame. And one thing about psychology I find interesting is any first-year psychology student will know this. You start reading the book, and then you start thinking, do I have all of these things with me? How was did that happen to you, I wonder?
It did. It did many, many times. I had, I want to say, almost the pleasure to hit rock bottom very early in my age. So in multiple ways, I failed in a business with 25, with a major burnout, in a financial crisis, and in a physical state where I could not leave the house anymore. So this literally has led me to moments that I needed. I didn't learn to seek help, but I had to seek help, which eventually led me to become a very reflective person. So whenever I was facing any situation that did not resonate with me, that was feeling funky, funny, weird, I started questioning. And this is, as you say, right? Whenever you read a book and when you're in your study, you'll be like, oh my God, is this me? How does this apply to me? Am I really this person? And how can I fix that? However, what I want to say that I think humans as we are right here, right now, we all carry our traumas. We all carry something within us. And therefore, I'm not sure if we should even put our energy in that direction. And to want to fix everything. And to create a bigger awareness, even bigger awareness of our problems we have in reading more books, in educating ourselves more and more and more at all times before we really find the reason why we want to, if you wanted, fix a certain problem. And then to take all the knowledge, all the resources, all the tools we gathered through the books, through the educations, through the seminars and webinars we are visiting, and implement it in our lives, you see the move forward. Otherwise, creating this awareness state and becoming even more aware of our problem ain't gonna lead anywhere except for what in many cases happens will lead to more anxiety, fear, and might even literally make you let go and put those dreams on a shelf and never look back again, because it seems impossible in the beginning. So what I always like to say, instead of creating endless awareness, we need that awareness, no doubt, is to look for options and look for opportunities to make this little tiny step forward. And as well, as you said, to trust that we do need to know everything. We don't have to know the outcome of our huge plans. It's impossible. And we can just trust our ability that we can even learn to trust ourselves, that we will be able to take the right actions and to take the right responsibility in order to get where we want to be.
Yeah, I love it. The idea that, yeah, if you don't take action, if you just read the stuff, that could actually backfire and make it worse, because you're reading it and going, oh, that's what's wrong with me, not realizing all you have to do is take the action that they said after that, right? And then, what's his name? Robin Sharma, he always talks about regrets of dying people. And the idea is that, like, the most common regret is that people just didn't play big with their life or follow their dream. And it doesn't have to be a career or anything like that. If you want to paint, like, go and paint. And then trauma, it's just, I think the more I'm thinking about it, it's like almost everybody. And like, it's how you take it, right? So some people maybe don't have it as bad as others, but the same situation, one person, it could bounce right off and it doesn't affect them at all. Another one, even using Serbia, you said Serbia, you're born, right? Growing up in Serbia, Milosevic and that timeline, some people are forever trauma, their kids, it's in them. And other people, it might be in them, but they don't even ever realize it. I think, oh man, there was so much gold in that last exchange you just said, and now I'm losing my thought.
Let me step shortly in what you said, JP. You said that that taking action is literally something that we need to eventually realize that this is the necessary thing to do. And I want to just step in here and say that awareness is something that is important. However, when we try to make our ground plan forward, and most of the situations, because it is so new, change is always new, no matter if it's a career change, a job change, an industry change, if we want to have a family, travel, change countries, move countries, whatever it is complete newness. And our brain reacts to newness. It reacts with preventing the newness in order to keep us safe, right? And if we don't know the outcome, because we can't know it, we can only dream it, envision it, and believe that this is our path to go forward. And that's why we can't even make that plan all the way to the end. And I think this is what keeps so many, like, I don't want to say stuck, but keeps them, in a place where they move back and forth, but it's instead of going 2 steps forward, they make always 1 step forward and 1 step back and stay at the same place, because we are not used to be okay with insecurity and to be okay with discomfort, because all we try is to push it away. And if change is not feasible tomorrow, we better don't do it. But I want to let you know here, whoever's listening, your desires, your dreams won't let go of you. What is within you will be there, and it will haunt you one way or the other. You can't put it on a shelf. You can have that dust over it eventually. But then, as you said, that what people say in the end of their lives is always regret that they haven't made that one step that was necessary back then. Yeah. And I see this a lot. I hear this in my father's stories. I hear this in every person's story that there is so much desire and as well so much potential.
Yeah. The idea, Les Brown, you know Les Brown? He's just a motivational speaker, but he always talks about that. And he says how like the how is none of your business. It's your job is just to make the dream and then try to get out of the way. But my company is called the Next Steps Academy. And the idea, and then my screensaver even here is Martin Luther King Jr. quote. It says, take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. And it's what you're saying back there, right? But it's so important because, yeah, you can't see the end because there's so much in the middle to see. But as you start to move towards your dream, you become a different person. You learn new skills. You make new relationships. The right people come at the right time and say the right things. And that's stuff that you didn't know back when you started your dream. So, of course, you can only go one step at a time. And then, obviously, Lao Tzu, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Absolutely, I see that, and I always refer to the making the foundational work. No matter if you are founding a business or if you are just creating any long-lasting change in your life that is bigger than going from white clothes to colorful clothes, is to build a foundation of trusting in the ability that you can, and on the other hand, is to have the capacity and the resources to look as you, as an individual, at your own identity outside of society. Let me explain that. As we grow up, as I grew up, like my parents did not see the value in traveling nor the opportunities because there was a lack of money. The financial situation was not allowing it. And they didn't see the need because this is not how they do it. This is not how their parents have been doing it, right? But I saw it on TV. I knew that people can. So I was literally secretly being in my corner and trying to work against my family and their thoughts and what they taught me, which did not resonate with me because no matter where we come from, how our upbringing was, our caregivers, parents, family, etc., there is still love involved. We will always honor these people no matter what. And that's okay. And what I mean by seeing yourself as an individual outside of society is to understand our situation today. So there is literally no collective duty for the survival of all anymore. So back in the days, and I speak back in the days, far back when we were still really, really, where we needed the collective and we needed the tribes for survival, right? Where if you couldn't survive alone because you needed the people who are take care for your children, who go hunting, who know how to prepare the meal, to make fire, to protect you from the animals, etc., etc. You wouldn't have been allowed, nor me. Nobody would be able to survive a night alone in these times. So our brain is here primal too. So understanding that we don't need that anymore, that we are perfectly fine sustaining ourselves in our beings, and that this is completely fine, and still can respect society, our caregivers and family, by not having to feel shame, regret, because we are not, or guilt, because we are not taking up their opinion. And understanding this, and having that foundation built based on communication, on a skill set of detachment from opinions, is something that I love working with, because this is something so powerful that will make you fly forward. And these are tools applicable to every freaking situation in life. Because what I observed in where dreams get lost, they get lost in the question, what do people think about me? What if they say I'm too old? What if they say I'm too loud? What if they say I'm greedy if I want more? What if they say that I'm unthankful? Like in my case, my mother has worked off her behind for me and my siblings. I was watching that day in, day out. Yet I did not value the path I was on. So dealing with this is a natural state of our society. We need that collective in one way or the other, but it is allowed and more than okay to act as an individual in an intentional, respectful way.
Yeah, that's awesome. Detachment, that's a big thing. And that's something I learned and I'm able to do more and more as the years go on. But it's such a big thing, right? Because there's something about putting, okay, you know the book, The 5 Love Languages, right? It's kind of cool. You get it. You can understand people. But at the end of the day, what's happening is you're making your power outside of yourself and you're making it up to someone else to make sure you feel okay. And that's not how it should be. Like the idea of detachment is like, I'm okay no matter what. Like as long as I'm here and breathing and alive right now, I'm okay. And I think something you said back there was about trust that you can do it instead of what if I can do it? What if I don't? What if they say this? And you said, trust if you can do it. And that's the only way to do it, right? You make evidence. And you said also something about, you didn't say take the small step, but break it down to as smallest part as possible. Sometimes I have to work with people or sometimes I get to work with people who are hoarders. You know, hoarders, they just put stuff. And I'm just like, you start with one box. We're not doing anything else. You don't have to do it. We'll do one box today. Maybe even if it takes a week, that's okay. But there's no other way. So you break it down to the very smallest step. And when I have a whole crazy story of chronic pain for a decade where I couldn't do anything. And I saw this video of the Admiral. I don't know, maybe you've seen it, but Admiral McCraven, he gives a commencement speech at University of Texas, Austin. And he talks about making your bed. If you want to change the world, you start by making your bed. And this speech is so powerful. He goes through the whole thing and then he circles right back. So if you want to change the world, start by making your bed.
I like to tap into this, JP. I love that because often we are looking for, metaphorically speaking, for a magic pill, for something that goes easy enough, quick enough, for something perhaps not existing yet, for a guidance, for another new book that will do it for us, right? But what I want to say here and what I also like really empower in my work is we're going to start with your capacity and resources available right here, right now. And I think this is what you were saying, because we carry so much wisdom and potential within that was probably disapproved in the past, that was disencouraged. However, there is a great potential that you can dig that up very quickly. And this is your magic pill. Your magic pill is within. It's not in the book. It's not on the outside. It's not in the validation. It's not what you will learn in the future. It's what you have right here, right now. And I do this equally in life situations as we have to change things, whatever that is that you want to change in your life, in a specific area of life, and in business. This is why I'm not a fan of blueprints. My program, Strategic Success, that goes over 6 months, where we build a business foundation for a profitable business, where I combine mindset work, all the inner dialogue with strategy, will forever be a one-on-one program, because there are so many ways of making a business profitable that needs to align, in my opinion, 1,000% with your own values, so you actually can work through everything that comes in your way, as will happen, no matter what we do, because life happens, business is not easy, that you can walk through this with grace and ease.
Yep. So that's good. We're going into your business now, which is where I was going next. So let's talk more about that. So 6 months or a year, those are two good numbers. The idea of, especially for a business side of it, you can't just do it in a month or 3 months. You need to take your time. You need to plan strategically so that you can implement the processes, because it's really difficult just to do it all at once. So could you expand maybe on that and what you offer?
Yeah, I love that. So why does this take at least 6 months? That was an experience of mine over the last 3 years since I started offering it. We started initially with 3 months. That has worked for some and not for the others. But where I always got short on time is either strategy or mindset. However, I am a fan of not wanting to put the problem on you. I'm not going to tell you that you will face A, B, C, and D. I love, as we work, let these obstacles occur on your pathway and then find the tools that literally help you instantly move forward. And I'm not speaking of quick fixes, because there is always work that we need to do on our personal development, in our business. We need to learn new skill sets, etc. But it is about the moment that we need to pass that hurdle with grace. So for many reasons. One, to show yourself that you can. This is how you build that confidence. I freaking can. I've been here. I stepped over that hurdle. Okay, what is the next? Okay, so I want these fast forward moving actions that sometimes don't even allow to dig into problems that are not here yet. And on the strategic side, it needs time, depending on where you come from. What network do you have? What skill sets do you have? What your job was before? Sometimes it's enough if we take skill sets from the corporate world and directly translate it into the online business world. Other moments, we really need to dig deeper into skill sets and learn things, find out what sits well with us. How do I want to sell? How do I want to be visible? What is my story I want to tell, etc., etc. What programs? What do I want to offer to the world, etc. So this is something very strategic, where we also develop a big gap analysis, internal and external, and then literally see, okay, what do I need to develop to get to where I want to be? And as you listen to this already, it is already something where people will understand that this is not done overnight. You haven't come to this place overnight, and there's lots, unfortunately, on social media, these overnight successes. But I encourage everyone to look and dive deeper where these people come from. You will very quickly see that nobody has done that in a month, unless there was already businesses before and they had the skill sets to do so. However, I'm encouraging you to go on your own path and get out of this comparison trap, and to deal with social media in a way that is fun for you and not discouraging.
That is awesome. Yeah, the thing I would say there is, like, anybody who you think you see as a millionaire or billionaire or whatever, the day before they were a millionaire, they weren't a millionaire, right? So, like, it takes time and you got to get there. The last two exchanges, you said the quote that comes right to mind is Arthur Ashe, and it's start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. And that's it. You can't do anything else, right? You can go and get more tools along the way and all this, but to start at the start line, it's just a marathon, right? I think I was telling you off air that I ran a marathon. I learned like 25 lessons that are applicable to life, same as your business applicable to life. And one of them is just, you got to start at the start line. There's nowhere else to start.
Yeah. And if I might add something to this quote, is do it now. Yesterday is out of play, but you can do it now.
Yeah. I kind of think, let me see, as we begin to wind down, if this episode resonates with you, please like, subscribe, share, or follow, but no hard sell. And definitely reach out to Ivana. If you guys listen to this podcast, then we're going to talk about her podcast in a minute, but I want you guys to go check out her podcast. A lot of similar ideas and tips, tricks, and tools. So definitely check that out. And Ivana, I ask everybody, this is the Phase 4 podcast, and Phase 4 in the 6-phase meditation by Vishen Lakhiani is all about creating your future 3 years from today. So where is Ivana 3 years from today?
This question, I've been sitting on this, JP. This is hard to answer. In the next 3 years, a lot will happen. And I always see development coming exponentially. Like once you start, it starts with slow steps, but once you have the clarity and learn to prioritize, it can go quick. And I have the feeling I'm ready for this. With that, I want to step more into my values, into the value of integrity. I made a promise to myself in the past that I no longer want to do things that do not align with my values, that not resonate with me. I no longer want to sit on a table with people who are not good for me in whatever way. I'm no longer going to please people who do not see the value or to convince them of the value of my work, etc. And as well that I made a promise to myself that I'm going to prioritize health and my well-being in a way that letting go of hardship. And I have worked the last 3 years very hard. The reason for that was because I didn't have the clarity, and I had to make a few steps and take a few turns that made me made me work double the time and had to go back to starting points, etc. But now, as I have the clarity and I learned over the years to prioritize, my priority is in doing less, but with more efficiency, so I can tap into the person who I worked for to be. And I have the feeling that I'm more and more stepping into this era of my life where things to me come with ease. I'm not saying I'm not gonna work at all, right? This isn't gonna happen, but in a way that really lights me up and where my soul and my body can rest within that work.
Yeah. Working smarter, not harder is what I'm hearing. And just allowing the flow. I'm the same. I'm just made a video yesterday for a group that I was, whatever. But I said in the video, like, I'm not trying to force anything. If it's not working this part, it's not feeling right, we're not forcing it. Like, it doesn't, obviously you can try to force it, but like you can't put a square into a circle, right? Yeah. So I love your answer. I love the idea that you've, in your answer about the future, you reference the past and how you've been working hard to get to where you are. And so that's just another one you said there. It's like, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. And then the answers will come, right? Once you start aligning, you said align with your values. I was going to give it to you off. I might as well just put it on now. So there's something called the VIA survey, Character Strength Survey, Values in Action. And it's done by the founder of positive psychology. His name's Martin Seligman, and he's at Penn State University. So anybody goes to this website, AuthenticHappiness.org, and just look for the VIA Character Strength Survey. It's 240 questions, takes 20 minutes. You fill it out. But what happens is they email you your top 5 character strengths. So you said integrity was one of them. But it's so crazy how accurate this is. Everybody I've ever done with is like, yep, that's it. Those are me. And so what you do is you kind of walk through your life after you get the results, noticing it. And this not only helps build confidence, but it helps you become authentically happy, AuthenticHappiness.org. And it's you, right? And these guys are like the top psychologists you can find. They put this thing together and it's such a powerful tool. So again, AuthenticHappiness.org, VIA Character Strength Survey, and then follow your values in action. And with that, go ahead if you want to respond, sorry.
I just want to add on to this. This is such a powerful thing to go for, is authenticity. It's in everybody's mouth, and however people want to put authenticity for themselves. I don't want to go too deep into that. But what we have together as humanity, and this is a statement of Dr. Terera Trent. In her book, she writes that no matter where you're from geographically, the culture, the race, or your gender identity, what we all have together as a human collective is that we are striving for a life of meaning. And I think the moment you go on this journey, you will more and more have to look into authenticity and your own identity, and to, again, get those dreams from the shelf and act.
Yeah, Maslow's hierarchy, right? If you're listening to this, you're probably near the upper echelons of that pyramid. And so we're trying to find self-actualization, and that means looking into the self, actually looking into the self, not outside yourself. And I think Absolutely. That's kind of what you said. And so let's talk about your podcast. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's hear all about it.
My podcast, Fabulous by Design, the name comes from, because I believe we are all fabulous by design. As we are, everything you need to succeed in life is already within you. And I'm bringing in, this is one of my biggest free resources. I'm bringing in people from all over the world. They share their story, how they overcome adversity, made their life, but turned their lives from tragedy into hope, and made those changes they desired. Their stories are so individual. They are very unique, very vulnerable. And all I want to is to empower with these stories and show you that you can as well. It doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter who you are. If you have that dream deeply rooted within you, this is your sign to go and get it. And every Monday, I'm releasing short episodes that are based on questions that I get along the way from my people I coach and work with, that then I answer from a coaching perspective that enhance you to think a little bit and to sit above these topics, that to move a little bit forward if you have certain questions. You can go on every app. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or on my on the landing page of the Fabulous by Design podcast. I will bring this all onto JP, so you can go and tap that link and tune in immediately.
Yeah, we'll definitely put those in the show notes. Again, go check out that podcast, because if you're listening to this, there's a lot of similarities. Ivana is doing some wonderful work, and your story is very similar to mine, as I mentioned. It reminds me of a quote. By now, you must know that I like lots of quotes, but this is Henry David Thoreau, and it says, "If one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours." And it's so true, right? Once you start moving. There's another quote, Douglas Murray. He was an explorer, and it says, "Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. That the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too." So my message there would be like, go for it and see what happens.
Absolutely. I like to encourage this too. And what a biggest mistake in my life I did is not asking for help. I thought that entrepreneurship, if you start to go on this path, is something that you should know how things are going, and this is expected of you, and it's a shame to ask for help. I was sitting in my early 20s in a dark corner alone, thinking that I'm a weirdo, not good enough because I couldn't solve certain problems. It eventually led to a dramatic outcome, to big failure and discouragement. So wherever you need help, go to places where it's already done. Go and surround yourself by the people who are already doing it. No matter if you're taking a paid program, if you have a conversation, as if you are expanding your network, however feels right for you, but you gotta go to places where you find the courage and the support needed on your path forward.
I double that. Yeah, you got to go for it. Go after it. It's not going to come find you. You have to go out. You have to network. You have to do all the things. So I definitely love that. And I think before I kind of ask my final questions, I always love to let the guests take it wherever they want. So if that's something you have to sell it. If it's a message of hope or inspiration or just anything you want, maybe something we don't know about you, wherever you want to go.
What I want to say here is that you will find spaces, you will find moments where you will be definitely discouraged to go for your dreams. Don't be surprised if your closest friends, your family, will disagree with you. I want you to know that you are loved either way. I don't want this to be a discouragement of your dream. I want this to be an expansive experience of your own being, that you are so much further than you imagined ever being, and that you cannot, knowing that you cannot change somebody else's thinking. And this is also not what your energy should be going. We will be respecting other people's horizons while we grow our own. And you should put that energy into your own journey and not into changing others. So no matter how painful this might turn out to be, if someone disagrees, and it will happen along the way, and this is probably what everybody fears deeply, it's not the end of the world. I've been there too. JP probably was there too, that you will hear things you didn't want to hear because we have these expectations of support. But I want to encourage you again, go there where people are doing it, and let not this be something that discourages you from going for your dreams. This is my final message. I want everybody to put this close to your heart and listen to it over and over again, as long as you need it to find the courage, because I want to let you know that I believe in you 1,000%.
That is so beautiful. It summarizes what we focus on expands, and your story is your superpower, which is a message I want to get across. So yeah, thank you so much. And my final question is always, how can people reach you?
Oh, I am pretty much everywhere, but where I like to hang out the most is on Instagram under Ivana Ivanek. DM me. I am here. This is your permission slip to ask me free questions. And I always say, if I can answer them within a 1-minute voice note, you will have this free for a lifetime. I want to have these conversations with you. This is where you can reach out to me. You can as well listen to my podcast, Fabulous by Design, where you will find lots of resources to tap in, lots of encouragement, lots of educational value that will hopefully help you to get where you want to be.
Yeah, thank you, Ivana. This is a powerful, powerful conversation, and I'm so grateful for your time today. Thank you so much.
I appreciate the opportunity and having the chance to have this exchange of thoughts and perspectives with you, JP. Thank you so much.